Few stories in sports history are as captivating as Don Calhoun's, an ardent Chicago Bulls fan, and the incredible sequence of events that unfolded one fateful day at Chicago Stadium. It's a story about dreams coming true, unexpected challenges, and the unbreakable spirit of a sports fanatic. Well, so I'm back, everyone. Hope you are doing well. Today we have an exciting topic to discuss. He made $1 million shot, and they didn't want to pay him. Before we start, make sure you hit that subscribe button with notifications turned on, so you never miss our inspiring videos like this one. The unfulfilled $1 million moment for Don Calhoun. Introducing Don Calhoun, a Bulls enthusiast who becomes the focal point of a life-changing event. Don accomplishes an extraordinary feat that promises to reshape his destiny, with music filling the air and enthusiastic applause from the audience. He sinks an incredible three-quarters court shot at Chicago Stadium from an incredible 85 feet away, securing $1 million windfall. Don revels in the celebrations alongside the Bulls, even receiving a congrats from Michael Jordan himself. However, the happy mood is short-lived as the mandatory insurance company refuses to honor the payout due to a contest rule technicality. Don Calhoun is left empty-handed despite his incredible $1 million shot, the weight of his remarkable achievement unacknowledged. The 1990s NBA $1 million three-pointer. During NBA All-Star Weekend in the 1990s, a remarkable contest gave fans the chance to sink a single three-pointer for $1 million. Partnerships with companies such as Foot Locker, American Express, and Sony enabled this seemingly unbelievable opportunity. Millions of hopeful fans entered, but only one lucky person was chosen each year, making it a highlight of All-Star Weekend. To improve their chances, each contestant received advice from an NBA player. A 17-year-old was chosen from a pool of 6 million entries to attempt the $1 million shot in 1996. The $1 million shots, Demetrius Houston and Jim Valente's near misses. Demetrius Houston was chosen for the $1 million shot, with George Gervin by his side and 17,000 eager fans in the stands. The ball rebounded off the backboard as Demetrius aimed for the shot, with $1 million jackpot hanging in the balance, dampening the hopes of those watching. Gervin attempted to console the young player, but his dismay was palpable. Then it was Jim Valente's turn in 1997, guided by NBA legend Oscar Robertson, an ironic mentor given Robertson's own lack of three-point ability during his NBA career. Jim, on the other hand, had a different goal in mind. He wanted to give his wife $1 million check for her birthday. Jim stepped up to the line with a racing mindset, dreaming of a new Corvette, a gleaming Rolex, a backyard deck makeover, or even a boat. Unfortunately, his shot veered off course, and Jim blamed the miss on a slight push to the right during a post-game interview. $1 million misses, the high-stakes saga of Mike Hoban and Saul Hochman. Saul Hochman was the chosen contestant in 1998, and he became the first person in the contest's history to make contact with the rim. Another year, however, meant another $1 million miss. Among these $1 million shot competitions, none could match the unforgettable 1995 contest. The spotlight was on Mike Hoban, a 16-year-old who worked tirelessly under the tutelage of All-Star Dan Majerle. Mike's daily routine included hours of three-point shooting, which evolved into an almost obsessive focus on becoming one with the basket. His performance became increasingly out of the ordinary, but it was effective. The moment arrived while friends and family were watching live TV. Mike lined up his shot, let go of the ball, and missed the rim by 2 feet in air ball. The young contestant was devastated as the disappointment was palpable. While the commentator's attempts to console him only added to his disappointment, there was one bright spot. Mike did not win the $1 million, but he did keep his college scholarship hopes alive. The quest for $1 million shots and unfulfilled hopes. Mike is set to return to his junior varsity team after missing the $1 million shot. Craig Sager interviews him, and he has an intriguing thought: one more shot. Mike expresses his desire for another chance, which many people share. Unfortunately, Mike never gets a second chance. There hasn't been a single winner in multiple contests with $1 million on the line for a single three-pointer. This result appears astonishing, given that fans and contestants have successfully sunk even more difficult shots for significantly lower rewards. We've all seen these contests in which a fan is chosen at random from the audience to attempt a half-court shot worth far less, such as $10,000 or $20,000 or even a car. In one remarkable instance, a Mavericks fan makes a layup, a free throw, a three-pointer, and a half-court shot all in the same game, earning a reward for his extraordinary performance. Unexpected rewards for spectacular shots. The discrepancy in prize values. The difference in prize values for fan shots is obvious. In one case, a contestant wins $3,000 in gift cards to a local furniture store, while another wins a 65-inch flat-screen TV for hitting a half-court shot during a Mavericks game. Surprisingly, a woman's precise half-court shot at another Mavericks game earns her the same reward, a television. In the world of basketball, a guy sinking a half-court shot for a round-trip ticket to anywhere he wanted was an unlikely but not impossible feat. However, it defies belief that another fan replicated the exact shot only 30 seconds later. This begs the question, what would happen if someone made $1 million shot? The improbable $1 million shot, a halftime spectacle. Consider the following scenario. Instead of gift cards or a flat-screen TV, a sports team was forced to hand over a 7-figure check to one lucky fan. In a game against the Heat in 1993, the Bulls were in top form, leading by 14 points at halftime, with Jordan scoring 22 points in the first half. But the real show was about to begin. During the 1993 season, the Bulls ran a promotion for their fans in which one lucky attendee from the 18,000-person crowd was chosen to attempt a three-quarters court shot for $1 million. $1 million cash prize for such an event was unheard of back then, and it still is today. The chances of making such a shot were so remote that the Bulls and the insurance company in charge of the payout were content to let the event go ahead. Before the Heat game, 19 lucky fans took the halftime $1 million shot. 2 of them hit the backboard, 16 were air balls, and only 1 even grazed the rim. The odds of a selected fan hitting this shot were estimated to be less than 1%. As a result, a member of the Bulls organization chose a 23-year-old local named Don Calhoun at random, primarily because his shoes did not scuff up the floor. Don, despite the daunting odds, walked onto the court to take his shot, thinking it would be a fun halftime gimmick. The $1 million prize seemed out of reach for anyone, so it was something to keep the fans interested. The elusive $1 million shot, carnival games, and legal pitfalls. Reflecting on the shot, Chris Hammond, vice president of STA Promotions, a leading player in the promotional contest industry, emphasizes that the ideal contest should resemble a tempting funfair game, just attainable enough to persuade people they can succeed while actually being extremely difficult. Even with a player like Steph Curry in the mix, the goal remains the same: make money. But as fate would have it, Mr. Hammond and SCA Promotions are about to fulfill their $1 million promise. Don Calhoun of Bloomington, Illinois, hits an 80-foot shot for $1 million at Chicago Stadium to rousing applause. The crowd erupts in joy, and for a brief moment, Don appears to be an integral part of the Bulls' victorious team. Even the referee joins in on the celebrations. Don did the seemingly impossible, holding the game ball in one hand and the $1 million check in the other. These promotions are subject to stringent rules and restrictions that have been meticulously scrutinized by top-tier lawyers. If you break any of them, your prized winnings may slip through your fingers. Rule breaking and redemption. Don Calhoun's $1 million saga. Don Calhoun unintentionally violated one of the contest rules, which disqualified participants who had played organized basketball within the previous 5 years. Don had been a member of the Triton community basketball team just 3 years before the contest, and he truthfully disclosed this information on his contest form. Surprisingly, the contest organizers ignored this detail and gave him the shot, but the insurance company saw it differently, deeming it a clear rule violation. Don was thus disqualified from his $1 million opportunity. When word spread that the local legend would not be receiving his award, fan outrage erupted. In response to mounting pressure, the Bulls organization made an unexpected and perplexing U-turn, announcing at a press conference that they had changed their stance and would pay up. Don's $1 million reward was divided into 20 payments over 2 decades, with his first check for $50,000 being issued that week. Despite the fact that the rules had been broken, Don was said to receive his payout, though the how and why of it remained a mystery for over a year. Don Calhoun's unforgettable path to $1 million glory. Following his spectacular shot, Don Calhoun discovered that Michael Jordan would be attending one of his son's basketball games nearby. providing an ideal opportunity to have his $1 million game ball signed. Don went to the game with this mission in mind, but fans couldn't get close because security was closely guarding the NBA star. Don, on the other hand, wasn't just any fan. He was the man who get the $1 million shot. Michael Jordan spotted him in the stands and had security accompany him after the game. Don approached Michael, holding the ball and hoping for an autograph, only to be surprised when MJ asked him, "Did you get your money?" Don finally got an answer a year after the Bulls' change of heart. The insurance company hadn't paid him. They never intended to. When Michael Jordan and other Bulls players learned about the situation, they put pressure on ownership to keep their promise. Don was eventually paid out of the organization's own pockets. They could have legally canceled the payments, but Michael believed in doing what was right. Don received his $1 million and a few weeks later, the autograph he had sought. In the end, this story demonstrates that when someone pulls off the seemingly impossible $1 million shot, they eventually get their due to one way or another. Thank you for being here with us today. We hope you found this video engaging and insightful. Don't miss out on our latest content, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon for updates.